How are you eating your breakfast this morning? With a spoon? With a knife and fork? Correctly, we hope? Well, hopefully you can use cutlery much better than this lot.
Elbows off the table. Don't slouch. Shrimp fork. Salad fork. Dinner fork.
I definitely have the salad fork. The rest of the silverware is a little confusing.
She may be mine on paper. In the eyes of God, she belongs to Thomas Abbott.
It's all for me. Just start from the outside and work your way in.
You like a try the house wine, sir?
Yes, please. No. I'm driving.
I don't really care what he does at the table, he's so funny. Now, the use of table manners, or the lack of them, has caught the eye of our food writer, Dani Valent. She's down in the very fancy ABC cafeteria with Michael. Guys, do you have white linen down where you are?
Not quite, Virginia. I'm sure that's coming out a bit later on. Thank you very much, Dani. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Makes for a nice change from the hot, stuffy studio.
Oh yes, it's lovely to be here. The most elegant dining room I've been in for quite some time.
Excellent. You can stay. Now, Dani, you're here to tell us or tell me how to eat proper first, but I want to ask you first, what are your pet peeves? What are the things that annoy you most about table manners or the lack of table manners these days?
Okay, look, I wouldn't say that I'm a terrible stickler, but I think because we're eating on the couch so much these days, we're eating tapas, we're eating burgers, I think people have sort of forgotten how to use cutlery. And I've heard a lot of restaurateurs and waiters complaining that people just do not know what to do with silverware anymore. If they can't get in with their hands, then they're a little bit lost.
Well, funny that we've got some cutlery there in front of you, Dani. Can you give me a run through of just how you deal with? A lot of people can be quite confronted sitting down to a table with half a dozen, if not more, pieces of knives and forks and the like.
Sure.
Where do you go? What do you do?
Okay, well, I guess the basic rule is start from the outside and work in. I'm glad you haven't actually filled this plate with food and I don't have to carefully put peas onto the back of a fork and eat them without dropping any. But basically it's from the outside in. And some of the things I've heard people are doing in restaurants these days, and I've witnessed myself, they are holding their knives and forks like clubs.
Yes.
And attacking the food. That's not okay.
Why is that not okay?
Well, it just doesn't look nice. And it's actually, you can't get in there and do what you need to do. You can't cut, you can really only hack. And also, this is basic, this is 101, right? But no one knows anymore that you just put your knife and fork together to signal that you're finished. Also, don't, as I've heard people are doing, pass the cutlery to your waiter prong first.
People don't do that, do they?
Apparently they do, yes. Just this morning people have been telling me that's happening, so it's not okay. So I think the basic thing with table manners is it's not about gatekeeping, it's not about showing who's been brung up right. It's just about showing a bit of respect for the act of eating. It is a bit of an animal act of getting food into us, so we just need to put a veneer of civility over it.
Are you worried, though, the table manners and the art of dining, not just fine dining, the art of actually using a knife and fork is slipping because of a propensity to sit in front of the TV, go to fast food restaurants and not sit with a plate in front of you?
Oh, look, definitely. I think where people have traditionally learnt table manners is sitting at the family dinner table and being told to get your elbows off and sit up straight and use this fork for that, and so to be basically given those basic lessons. And that certainly doesn't happen if everyone's sitting on the couch watching TV, or if they're eating burger or pizza and eating food that is really better eaten with the fingers. I don't know if we need to go back to, let's say, the 50s. A mother of a friend of mine tells this story of being taught to eat spaghetti. So the 4 children in the family were sat at the table with shoelaces and forks and to practice twirling.
Oh, really?
Once they could do it with the shoelaces, they were match fit for the real spaghetti. Cut to a few years ago when I was teaching my kids to eat spaghetti, not as civil. Hopefully we've got a photo of daughter, dog, floor and spaghetti. So look, my standards have certainly slipped as well.
Now, you're also sitting in front of a soup spoon. Lots of people complaining this morning about slurping soup being one of their big culinary bugbears.
Yeah.
What's the right approach to eating soup? And pick up the soup spoon and just how would you
Well,
bring
I'm
the soup spoon to your
left-handed,
mouth?
so I'm probably banned from polite society anyway. But look, I think we can get the spoon into our mouth and actually, you know, oh my goodness.
No, you've got soup there, pretend.
Oh, we've got soup,
Pretend it's
okay.
going in.
So I think a little bit of gentle, polite, appreciative slurping is okay. In some cultures, it's actually polite to be noisy with soup and to show your appreciation. So with a Japanese soup, that's fine. But I think it's about what's going to annoy people that you're eating with. Are you being gross? That could perhaps be, you know, the basic question to ask yourself.
Now, I notice you've got a smartphone with you. Do you know, Dani Valent, as a result of that, you would never get inside Virginia Trioli's front door, certainly anywhere near her dining table?
Okay, phone is going in the bin straight away. All I want is to get inside Virginia's front door. But look, I've got this here not because I'm planning to take a phone call, but because I wanted to talk about the awful phenomenon of phubbing.
What's phubbing?
Phubbing is snubbing someone by using your phone at the table. And it's prevalent. And I will admit that I will take a quick photo of my food before I eat it. I know, terrible. But I don't know if the unphotographed meal exists anymore. But I will do it discreetly and then the phone on silent, face down on the table, and it's not part of the conversation anymore. So I think phubbing's out.
Vanessa O'Hanlon insists she eats pizza with a knife and fork. Social horror?
I don't think that's necessary. I don't think we need to do as the Queen does and peel an orange with a knife and fork either. I think some food is definitely designed to be eaten with the fingers. And hot dog, not to be eaten with a knife and fork.
There's that photograph of David Cameron eating a hot dog with a knife and fork, just a complete social no-no.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes it's just silly. And sometimes being messy is part of the experience. So, for example, if you're eating crab, there's something really lovely about putting on a bib, getting completely dirty and messy and, you know, washing up in a finger bowl afterwards. But that's a shared cultural experience. It's not about, you know, you just throwing food all over yourself and your dining companions while they're sitting there trying to, you know, keep things nice.
Fantastic. Now, just one final question, Dani. How would you eat asparagus?
I feel like this is an awfully important test. I would just eat it with a knife and fork.
Stop right there, because Virginia insists you pick it up with your fingers.
Oh my goodness. If it was wrapped in bacon or prosciutto, I'd pick it up with the fingers, but I feel like I'm never getting inside Virginia's front door.
You listening to this, Virginia?
Never happening, Dani. I've been keeping score, and you failed on about 3 or 4 points. But thanks for trying.
Oh well, I failed that test. I'll try again.
Hey, but don't worry.
Try again next
Just
time.
a secret, Dani. Virginia's cooking's overrated, so you're not missing out on much.
Okay, I'll have her at my place.
And guess who's not getting back into the studio now?
Yes. Now, could I have
Bolt the doors.
a BLT and espresso? Thank you. I might just stay here, Virginia, for the rest of the show if you don't mind.
BLT for me too, please.
Excellent. We'll
And
see you soon.
don't think I'm joking.
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Dani.
Michael. Thanks, Dani.